Greetings, my name is Reese Sorgenfry, and today I'm going to be talking about the construction and water engineering methods that make Machu Picchu a civil engineering marvel. Now, to start with the construction engineering, Machu Picchu is actually found to have been incomplete upon discovery. This did, however, give insight as to how the Incas built the site. First and foremost, the reason they were able to move these giant boulders despite the lack of technology was because they placed these small rocks under these boulders, and that allowed for less friction to be between the boulder and the ground itself, and allowed for these workers to push it to wherever it needed to be. Furthermore, construction ramps were built that were built to high elevations with shallow slopes that allowed these boulders to be pushed up these shallow slopes to whatever elevation was desired. Now, the Incas also used more nuanced construction methods such as workers' platforms that allowed these workers to be put in elevated spaces for a temporary amount of time to complete smaller jobs that needed to be done on top of roofs, temples, or anywhere they needed to be. Furthermore, there is evidence of dry runs that the Incas did, where they would place the rocks together before placing them in the structure that allowed for them to make sure that the structural aspects had the correct dimensions before placing them in. Now, when talking about the water engineering aspects about Machu Picchu, two aspects come to mind: the water supply systems and the water drainage systems. Now, with the water supply systems, there were two canals found on the site. There's one main canal that ran from the spring atop the fault down through the city, and a secondary canal that stemmed from the main canal and ran to other parts of the city. Now, the main canal, one thing that is most interesting about it is the fact that it utilizes the same techniques used by other ancient civilizations. The Romans come to mind with their aqueducts, as to where it allows water to run from an elevated position to a position of lower elevation. Furthermore, these canals were built with elongated curves where they needed to turn to reduce splashing and therefore reduce erosion, which showed that the Incas planned on occupying Machu Picchu for an extended period of time. Now, with the water drainage systems, the cornerstones of these were the agricultural terraces, and these agricultural terraces are arguably the reason Machu Picchu still stands today. These agricultural terraces were rectangular structures that lined the hill and were consisted of two drainage systems, one surface draining system and a subsurface draining system. Now, the surface draining systems simply ran water down the hill. However, these subsurface draining systems were consisted of multiple layers and ran water safely and slowly through them down to groundwater or just out into the environment. Now, these agricultural terraces could hold a substantial amount of water, and in case of torrential downpour, could hold it for an extended period of time as it slowly drained the water away if the downpour was initially too much for the systems to handle. Now, in conclusion, the Incas had a deep knowledge of construction and water engineering techniques, and it is the reason that the site is still standing today. The Incas, the techniques they used were way ahead of their time and were quite impressive despite their lack of technology. Here are my references. Thank you for listening and have a great day.